Howdy! Welcome to the Farmington High School Spring Jazz Concert. My name is Mr. Nays, and in front of you we have the Farmington High School Jazz Ensemble, which is our auditioned jazz group. And we have them go first just in case we share kids with Jazz Lab. They don't blow their faces out on the lab stuff. And you'll know what I mean by blow their faces out on this first one. This is The Chicken, which is not written by Chris Berg, but it's arranged by Chris Berg. This tune, I looked it up, this tune is the most popular jazz tune sold on the biggest publishing website, jwpepper.com. It's the most popular jazz tune sold, because it's a good one. If you are a hearing aid person tonight, I recommend you turn it down for the beginning. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to invite Mr. Kurt Backey up to the stage to talk a little bit about the Mineral Area Arts Academy and some good jazz band specific opportunities they have this summer. Please help me welcome to the stage Mr. Backey.
Thank you. I want to thank Mr. Nays and Ms. Porter for allowing me to come and speak to you. If you've been attending concerts like you used to years ago before the pandemic, we're on that roll now where there's a couple every week, and you could probably give this presentation for me because you heard me do it several times. But I want to tell you about a new organization that's been formed in our area. As you may be aware, the music department at Mineral Area College, the theater department, and the vocational agriculture, and also the radiology program has been cut for next year and for the future. It's a money issue, and we understand that, but we also know it's going to create a void on the community college campus. And so, with the putting some heads together, some old retired people like myself and some other young people who are much smarter than me and technologically proficient, we discussed having an arts academy on the campus of MAC to bring students back on the campus, but also to enhance their art experience that they get in the public school. So we formed the Mineral Area Fine Arts Academy. It has its own website. It's those same words.com. There are flyers in the lobby if you're interested. You may pick one up on your way out. We're going to be having general class lessons and private lessons for youngsters and adults. Very minimal cost. The idea is that we have a very short season, so to speak, where lessons will be held for 8 weeks, and then a performance at the end of the 8 weeks, and we'll run this through the school year. So literally, there's 4 opportunities for your child or yourself as an adult to take part in this academy. The idea being we can culminate each 8 weeks with a performance. As busy as everybody is, we would like to offer this up as a situation where you might only be able to do the third 8-week session, like in January, February, March next spring, because there's football, wrestling, and track, or Boy Scouts, or church, or whatever. So there's some flexibility. You can come and go as you like, but we ask for you to come and do the 8 weeks. This is for instrumental music, choral music, and theater. The classes will be $15 per week, and they'll meet for 50 minutes. There's private lessons available for $20 a lesson. In addition to that, this is the most exciting part, in my opinion, is this summer we're going to be having a big band camp, jazz band camp. And it's going to be 4 days in July, $20 a day, $80 for the week. All these activities are on the Monroe Area College campus. But the jazz band camp is geared toward big band, just like you see here. A lot of times jazz camps are strictly a lot of improvisation, which we had a number of students step up here tonight and play. We're going to work on improvisation, but the goal is to increase the students' ability to play in the big band. For Farmington kids, I'm offering scholarships to attend this. Your directors have the information. I don't even know if the deadline's passed. If it is, it doesn't matter, because I want to help any kids that want to go to this as much as possible if there's a financial need. Again, flyers in the lobby. We hope you take advantage of this. The Arts Academy is a 501c3. We're not in this to make money. The college has given us the campus to use nearly for free, which is great. They're going to give us the keys and the rooms for us to teach in. So we have a tremendous opportunity here to enhance the arts experience of your children or yourself, if you're interested. So if you have any questions, feel free to run me down tonight at the concert or get a flyer and check it out on the website. You can register online. Thank you.
Do What You Wanna. It's recorded by a lot of different New Orleans style brass bands. The recording that we kind of went off of was the Rebirth brass band. Brass band tradition came out of the second line tradition, where in New Orleans you would have a regular funeral service, but then you would cut the body loose and dance it all the way to the cemetery. They'd have a whole parade from the church over to where the cemetery is. And if you look up online, Do What You Wanna, Rebirth Brass Band, there have been some people who have been lucky enough to have Rebirth be their second line band. And so in a regular second line band, you'll see sousaphone, which old Chad is back there going to honk through. And then you'll see marching snare drum and marching bass drum, which we have Jackson and Caleb back there playing. So you'll see some different instruments. The other thing I want to note is that, and grab your music and just hold it up and show them, we're not reading music. We just listened to the tune. I figured out it was in the key of E flat, and we just went back 5 seconds and we sat there in the room and kind of figured it out. And then we kind of wrote it out in our own little Egyptian hieroglyphic scribble. So it's kind of cool that we learned a tune by rote. It's important to read music, and music literacy is important. But it's also pretty cool just to learn something by rote like that. So this is Do What You Want. I hope you have as good a time listening to it as we've had working on it. I'm pretty sure it's against federal law to have a jazz concert and not play some Sammy Nestico. He's just so good at it. Longtime writer for Count Basie. If there's a Count Basie tune that you know and can name right now, I would bet both dollars in my wallet Sammy Nestico wrote it. He did pass away this year. I think he was in his 90s, like 95 or something. But it's definitely federal law that you have to play Nestico. So this is our contribution to that, and our thank you to him for writing so much awesome music for us to play over his life. You know, there's all kinds of good jazz. You just saw some good second line. We played some ballads earlier. The Count Basie repertoire is a mandatory requirement. You can't graduate high school without playing that kind of stuff because it's where jazz came from. It's the classic swing stuff. So this is Shiny Stockings, and we're gonna have Sean Hogan come up and play a muted trumpet solo, and this one pretty heavily features Ryan on piano, Ryan Johnson. You're sophomore, right? Correct. And he's a sophomore, and I'm trying to push him to, let's get it right now, let's really get into jazz. So I really challenged him with this piece especially. So this is Shiny Stockings. every day when they walk in the room for class, we're always playing jazz over the speakers so they can get in the right mindset. Maybe they're staying from symphonic band or they had concert band that 2 hours before that, but I wanted to get back in that swing and jazz mindset. So we always have stuff playing when they walk in. And one day I played like the original recording of Duke Ellington's A Train, and we got pretty far into it, and they played a lot of the A Train, piano licks and the melody, and none of them knew it. And I'm like, don't worry, you'll get it. You'll just keep listening, you'll get it. And then it came up again, and they played the licks again. I'm like, oh, you got an A Train. And so the song was over. We listened to all 6 minutes or whatever it was. I'm like, all right, what was that? John Coltrane? No, you don't know A Train? And they're like, what? Anyway, so I was like, okay, we got to find A Train in the library. So that's where we had to play that because you have to know A Train. Anyway, so that'll be the last tune for them tonight. But before we do that, I wanted to make sure we gave out the Louis Armstrong Jazz Award. If you were at last night's high school band concert, you saw we gave out the John Philip Sousa Award, which is awarded to outstanding musicianship in that field of concert band. We have the same award here for jazz, so outstanding musicianship in jazz. This student definitely came to us in a time of need and filled out some spots that we needed filled out. And this student can be found constantly during rehearsal, bouncing around, solving problems, looking ahead and going, oh, we forgot to set that up, and then they just go and get it, or we forgot to get this, that, or the other. This person is very much a semi-assistant instructor / rhythm section coordinator for us. And so we're very glad to have them, and you just heard them really go ham on the drums. Our Louis Armstrong Award recipient is Mr. Jackson Umfleet. So if you don't know A Train, shame on you, and here it is.
Good evening. I'm Mrs. Porter, and behind me is the Farmington Middle School Jazz Band. We're going to get started right away, but before we do, I wanted to mention a mistake in the program. We unfortunately forgot to put Carter Lincoln under the trumpets at the bottom. He also has a solo, so he's listed on there for the solo. If you guys want extra copies, I'm happy to print more out, but I wanted to point him out. Jazz ensemble played was The Chicken, and we're going to start with Tastes Like Chicken. So on that first song, we featured Nate Guthrie on alto sax and Caroline Adams on tenor sax. And for this next one, we're going to slow it down. This is pretty standard. Little Darling, Little Darling. So on that last one, we featured Isaiah Boyer on trumpet and Mackenzie Drennan on alto saxophone. And the next song we're going to play is Tenor Madness. And we have quite a few soloists on this: Sienna Cloudis, Isaiah Boyer, Donovan Bridges, and Darren Henson. So this is Tenor Madness. Okay, before we go on to our next song, we're going to give their faces a break because the next one's a pretty big one. I have a few awards to hand out. I often forget that these guys are only 8th graders, and as 8th graders, they started in 7th grade, and that was a crazy year where they played like to March, and then we didn't have band, and they just constantly make me forget because they play so well, and they do such a great job playing, and many of them are on second instruments. It's like, yeah, the clarinet players up here also play, and then Caroline plays flute, and we have rhythm section, you know, on new instruments, so they're doing a great job. So picking awards was literally the hardest thing I've done all year. For advanced band as well, I was like talking to Mr. Nays, and I was like, can I give out 20 awards? Because I can't choose. So it was a hard choice, but I do have 2 Outstanding Jazz Musician Awards. So when I call your name, go ahead and come up and get your award. The first one is our lead trumpet player, Isaiah Boyer. And the second one is an alto player, Mackenzie Drennan. As you see, I have 2 clarinet players in the saxophone section, and earlier in the year they were like, don't clarinets sometimes play in jazz band? And I was like, yeah, sometimes. And as a clarinet player myself, I was like, oh, I could throw some clarinet in there. But so I picked a New Orleans song that didn't actually originally have clarinet, but New Orleans is pretty common in clarinet music. And I handed this out to them, and they were kind of like, and I was like, it's a high school chart, but you guys will be fine. So this is New Orleans Jumbo Gumbo. drawing the blank. King of Beeler. Yeah, look, I got it right. Christian Monrotis and Elizabeth Yeager and Mackenzie Jenner Clarendon. So if you've ever played in a middle school jazz band, you've probably played our last chart. I handed it out and Mr. Nays was like, but have you shown them the video of the guy on the buffalo? So he showed them the video of the guy on the buffalo. But our last song is Buffalo Head. take a minute to recognize the soloist on that. So we got Gabriel Christian on Barry sax. on trumpet, and Calvin Howard on guitar. So thanks for coming, and Jazz Lab is next.
Howdy, this is Jazz Lab, and if Buffalo Head wasn't a cool enough title for you, we're going to start off with I Beat When I Should Have Bopped. So on that tune, our trumpet players didn't play a single wrong note. Give it up for our trumpet section, man. How about it? Anyway, so we have occasionally on some of the songs rotated some saxophone players, some tenor players onto trumpet duty. So if you see some kids going back there, they're not banished or punished. It's just they're helping us by covering the trumpet parts. This is After Hours by the great jazz composer Gregory Yasinitsky. It's honestly a pretty good one. His name's just funny. Speaking of worst jazz titles ever, Bluesberry Pie. It's like blueberry pie. It's like blueberry pie. Isn't that funny? Anyway, Gavin Eaton up here is a freshman, normally a bass clarinet player, but he plays some jazzberry, and he plays it pretty stanky. And so I found this in the library, and instantly pulled it out, passed it out, and the rest of the parts were pretty darn easy. We put it together in a good 20 minutes, and then Gavin's part was harder because it's the solo. Anyway, so this is a Barry Sax feature, Bluesberry Pie, featuring Gavin Eaton. How about it, huh?
Nice.
Yeah. Just wish you would have worked on the title as much as you worked on the rest of the music. But other than that, it's pretty good. Good tune and nice performance by Gavin. Way to go. All right. Last one is Sissy Strut, and you'll recognize this if you're a fan of some old soul and R&B. This is from the Meters. Sissy Strut. Thank you again for coming out today, by the way. Lakes closes at 9:30. Snow to go closes at 9. Have a good night.